Hi everyone, welcome to a recording of this week's Community Craft. So Community Craft is the program that we're doing here for the summer where we give you a bag full of craft supplies and then we meet with you on Google Meet virtually and we teach you how to make the craft. So this week's craft was a paper tube dragon, and I will be teaching you how to make it if you weren't able to make it to the Community Craft today, or if you just want to make it again. So the fun thing with Community Craft, like I said, is you get a kit that has all the supplies you need. But for this one, you probably don't have a kit. So I'm going to show you what you're going to need. You will need a sheet of paper, and this is 1/4 of a piece of construction paper. So just fold it in half twice and then cut out one of the sections. You will also need a toilet paper tube, googly eyes, 2 of them. You will need 2 medium-sized pom-poms, 2 small pom-poms, strips of tissue paper in flame-colored colors. I have 6 strips, 2 of each color, but you can have more or less, it's up to you. And you will also need some white glue. So step number 1 is taking your piece of paper and covering one side of it in glue. So I do a border and then I just fill in the middle. Next, you're going to take your toilet paper tube, press it onto the piece of paper, and then wrap the paper over top of the tube, just like that. And if you have some paper, if you didn't quite size it correctly, you can just go ahead and trim it off. If you want, it could be helpful to size the paper before you cut it. There you go, now your toilet paper tube is wrapped in the paper. Next thing you're gonna do is take your 2 big pom-poms and your googly eyes, and we're going to glue the googly eyes onto the pom-poms. So I find it works best if you take 1 googly eye, put just a dot of glue on the back, not much, it doesn't have to cover the whole thing, and then you're going to squish it onto one of the large pom-poms. And you can just hold it there for a few seconds just so it starts to dry and set, and then do the exact same thing with the other googly eye and the other pom-pom. Just like that. So we're going to set these aside to dry just for a few minutes. They take a little bit to dry, so they're not going to be fully dry when we use them, but that's fine. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to start working with your tissue paper. So you're going to put about 1/2 inch of glue onto one end of the tissue paper. It doesn't need to be much glue because the tissue paper is really, really thin. And you're not putting it on very much of the tissue paper, just 1/2 inch. So you have all of this that's not glued and then just a little bit that is glued. So now you're going to take your gluey tissue paper that's sticking to your fingers and you are going to put it inside of the toilet paper tube so that it's sticking and hanging outside the tube. And you're going to do this exact same thing with the rest of your tissue paper. So glue a little bit and then put it on the inside. And we are going to fill the inside, like ring the inside with the tissue paper. So depending on how much tissue paper you have, how many strips you have, you're going to want to leave a little bit of space in between each piece of tissue paper. Or if you have lots and lots, then you can just overlap them and not really worry too much. This craft is kind of cool if you make the tissue paper different sizes and different widths, because that way the flames look nice and random, just like actual flames. Also, with that, you can have different colors for the flames. You could have different, like way more red flames than yellow flames, or an equal amount of each like I'm doing. It's really up to you. It's super fun with this craft because it's very, very customizable to whatever you'd like. So I'm just finishing up my last couple pieces of tissue paper, and I'm not worrying too much about this being perfect because, like I said, actual flames are pretty random and scattered everywhere. So you don't have to worry about this being perfectly symmetrical, and you know, it's okay for it to be random, with some pieces closer together and some shorter and some longer. There you go. So this is sort of what it should look like with the tissue paper hanging out of one end of the toilet paper tube. So now we're going to go back to our eyes. Mine do not seem to be sticking super well, so I'm probably going to have to re-glue them. But they're okay right now. So what I'm going to do, take one of my eyes, and if it's facing towards me, looking at me, then I'm going to either put glue on the top or the bottom of where my fingers are. I'm just going to do the bottom because it makes sense to me. So I'm going to put some glue on there, and then I am going to take my toilet paper tube and put the eye on the side that is facing, like it's not on the same side as the flames. It's looking towards the flames. And it can be pretty close to the edge on this side. Oh, see, my eye fell off. I have to re-put my eyeball on. That's okay. The thing about working with glue, especially white glue, because it takes a little while to dry, you might have to re-glue things a couple times, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna stick that on, and hopefully that stays while I do my second eye. So again, this is the exact same thing. Take it, put glue on one of the sides, and then stick this eyeball right beside the other eyeball, looking towards the flames. And now, if I can make it so that this one doesn't, there we go. Now we're gonna do the last step of gluing with the little pom-poms. So you're gonna take the glue and you're going to put a little dot of glue a little ways away from the end with the flames. So about a fingernail's width away. And just put a little dot and then a second little dot beside that one, leaving a space in between. And you're gonna take your two small pom-poms and stick them on those dots of glue. And now your dragon has nostrils. And this is also another customizable part. You could put them really far up, like almost halfways past the halfways on the tube, or pretty close. It just depends how long you want your dragon's nose to be. So now we have our lovely little dragon, and this is the fun part. You should wait for this to dry before you try it, just so that none of the glue comes undone. But I have a couple already glued dragons. So once your dragon is dry, you can take this, put it up to your mouth, and blow. And it makes the flames dance, just like a fire-breathing dragon. There you go. That's our community craft for this week. I hope you had fun. And if you'd like to sign up for the next community craft, we have another one on July 23rd and another one on August 6th. So go ahead and send us an email, go onto the SGPL website, and sign up for the next community craft. I had fun doing this with you. See you later.